This is Ali Reza. Today I will speak about a concept that few people had problem with, and understanding it was a bit hard for them, or I thought that uh, people that is watching this video would know about source control. Apparently lots of people don't know how to use it, so I started this video. What is source control? Well, if I get Photoshop up, there we go, new, and not transparent, but background color, good. And there we go. So we have two things to keep in mind. We have a home computer, okay? This is your home, your office, wherever you are developing your mod. It's a PC, okay? It's a computer. Now we have these servers on internet, and these are servers that are on web or internet, whatever you call them, okay? That has storages on them. Lots and lots and lots of storage place. You can register to these servers and tell them, hey, give me a storage room inside here, okay? Then in each storage room, you will create another section, and that is projects, okay? Then from your PC, you have a folder that you want to keep a backup of it. You can link this folder to one of your projects on the net, okay? And back and forth, it's two-sided. So whenever you change stuff on this project on any other place, for example, that's home, this is your office, you had done some code here, you dump the code here to the web. Then you go back to home, you can retrieve that data to your instance at home, do some job, put it back on project, and then when you come to the office, you can retrieve that project there. But that's not all of it. I'll open a program that I will speak about it more later, but let's take a look at what is going on. Well, this is under IO, okay? I just pulled the data from the initial repository, and by the way, before I forget, this whole section you have is repositories. It's your repository, okay? And inside each repository you can have multiple projects. So this is under IO's repository. Now you see that I can track it back to the very first commit, the initial commit. The initial commit had only a license and a README that was totally empty. Then Crazy Pants done initial code dump. Means that he had done some code, he put it on the repository, and here is the code, okay? So for example, I can see his very first MC mod info, and that's his conduit renderer. Wow, in very first commit he had a renderer. Liquid conduit, nice. Then item liquid conduit. So these were all the code that Crazy Pant first sent to his repository the very first time. Then he had done some bug fixes, and if you now switch to these guys, the colors are changing, showing the previous one in red, okay, and the new thing that he fixed and how he fixed it in greenish color, I should say, okay? So then the next one, you can see that. Then the next one, you see that. So then another bug fix comes in, and that's this guy. Then fixed bug exposed by equivalent exchange tree, and blah, 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 blah. All the way to here. Now, what's going on here? Well, if you take a look here, he says what he's doing. He says merge branch 1.7 into 1.7. What does this mean? Well, let me create a layer. No, erase, thank you, and a very big brush, thank you. Okay, so let's say that this canvas that you have right now is your project, okay? Inside the canvas, inside your project, you have this main branch going on, okay? That you started from the very first day and you are continuing. This is called master, okay? You can think of it as the root of your project, the root of your repository. Then whenever you want, you can branch from this guy and create a new branch. This is a branch, okay? The changes that you make from this point on will differ. You may want those changes happen inside the master branch. These won't affect your branch, or you want to put some edits inside your branched code, and these won't affect your master. And these two can go parallel to each other until the day that you are satisfied and you want to merge your branch inside your master. Okay? An example of it is that when the master is for example, for Minecraft 1.6.4, okay? The very first days that Forge comes for 7.10, Minecraft 1.7.10, you don't want to do all the stuff on your master, because then you may lose some things, and you are not sure if the old way of doing mod would work. For example, before this version, I think before it, we had these block IDs, okay? Block ID. But as soon as 1.6.4 came in, block IDs were gone. So you didn't want to destroy all your mod by just continuing your master. So you would branch from your master and start tweaking stuff there. And you can push some changes to branch or master or both. In the case you put the both, you will have two dots, one in branch, one in master. And the day comes that 1.7.10 is totally stable, and you want that to be your master from that time on. So you merge it back and you have your master now for 1.7.10, okay? So the master is now this one. So coming back to Ender IO's example, we see that he had a branch here. It doesn't show properly, but there was one. Here is another example, okay? So you see that here starts a new branch, and you see that that's update to 1.7.10 pre-4 with Forge 1138. That's an update there, but nothing goes inside master. Then fix something, and you see that origin 164 final, moving 164 up to pasture, and he's doing some stuff on 164 when the branches that were working on 1.7 came back and merged to the original, okay? And this continues on, and you see that here is another branch merged to another branch, and this branch merged to the master, and then a branch took off. After a few days, it came back to the master. Another branch started and continued. Another branch started. The previous branch merged. And remember, three branches are still going on. Okay? And this happens when people work on a team or when someone works on different aspects of mod. So he would want, for example, a branch for RF structure, another branch for example, GUI, another branch for, I don't know, you call it whatever you want, okay? For example, OpenGL stuff, and then when he has a branch for RF energy being finished, he can merge it back. Or he can keep it and continue changing it, and in the same time pushing it to both of them. For example, here you see that merge branch master of GitHub crazy pants ender.io, okay? And then here you see merge branch master of GitHub crazy pants ender.io, okay? So here is what is going on. This one branch merged to a new branch. So for the first time, it didn't merge to the original master, but to a branch. After everyone made sure that, for example, you see that's Zondavin's master, okay, being merged to a branch, and when Crazy Pant was sure that everything is okay, then he merged it to the real master, that is this blue one. Then suddenly, in one day, 3 branches start for different languages, as you can see. And then when they, ouch, where am I? Ow. I will lose the track of this guy time and time again because it's a very huge repository, okay? But you get the point. You got the point. You can, as you see, branch as many times as you want. You can have as many branches as you want. And you can merge branch to another branch, or just in yellow case, you can merge a branch to the master, okay? And this is the final commit on this guy's branch. And from then, okay, another starts, and this is the final one. Now, let's take a look at here. We have origin master, origin head. This is the latest update in your repository. You have a master header that is 8 behind the last one. It's marked, so here is a branch, okay, added, for example, comparator update. Then you see new capacity bank added. So this was a new capacity bank, I think. I'm not sure, because this is not my project. But well, what is the usage of this whole system? Two things come, I should say 3 things come from this whole system. One, if you have a change, for example, let's open one of my projects here. You see that I have this red dot here saying 4 in yellow and a branch called 1.8. Okay, so here I can see that 1, 2, 3, and 4 files were changed after my very last commit. Okay, so now I can tick this guy and say, hey, after coming into file status, ticking these guys and say, hey, I want to commit a change. For example, I can say changing GL stuff to handle NURB curves, okay? And then I commit. Remember, commit won't put these files in the internet. No, they just put this change tag on the history, okay? and here I can see what is going on if I so want to, okay? For example, on the IWS or in my, for example, on TLSing, draw spleens, and you see that I started working on a class that is busier, I think. I added stuff to math and didn't use it yet. So I put commit. Now I see this guy, push one upward. Means that I committed one commit that needs to go to internet. And in their iOS case, I see 8 pulls. Means that 8 things changed from very last time I got their source from the net, and I can get them. Okay? So Crazy Pants updated his repository 8 times, and I don't have the recent one. I have something that I can, ouch, that I can push up. Okay, so I hit push, then I see this guy. It says if you want to push into your branch or your master. Well, I want to push to both of them. Otherwise, I could uncheck this guy. Okay, or say track this guy and push, and bam. Now it's starting to send a git command, and here it's getting all the files and uploading them to the net, and done. Bam. So my repository now on glHandler, as you see, it check marked, and it says, hey, look at here, changing GL stuff to handle nerve scares. That is one usage of your system. Another usage, you see here I opened a page and blah, blah, blah. Let's say that I was not happy with this guy, okay? I can roll back. I can select this guy and see, okay, was this the one I was looking for? For example, yes. Then I would right click and say check out. And the repository on my hard drive would roll back to this guy. This is what's called source control. Otherwise, if you didn't have a repository on the internet, well, you wouldn't be able to have a history. And if you had these changes, then you would lost all of these data, okay? All of them. So, you know, you may be thinking, what the hell? It doesn't need, I don't need that, but later on, believe me, in your projects, you will do some stuff that would be ugly and bad, and you wanted to roll back. And this is a very useful system to do that. And another usage is, as you saw in Ender IO case, is when people work in team. You can make a branch for each team member, and the team member would work on his branch, then ask to merge with someone else's job or to the whole project, okay? And the project would update. And the project master is the one deciding that, okay, is this a good way, or do I need it, or should I ignore it? So now let's speak how you can make this repository on the internet. There are two very common providers that people use. One is github.com. You register, then you say, hey, new repository. And when you choose new repository, you can put a name there. You can select the public. The private repository of GitHub is not free. As you can see, you should put some money there. Okay, that's a downside there. And you put a README and a license type and create repository, and bam, you would have a repository that looks like this. So this is your repository, okay? And if you look, I have only master in here, okay? But if I switch to my profile, And here I choose glHandler. You can see that glHandler has two branches, 1.8 and master. And how did I make a new branch in GitHub? Well, put the name here and hit enter, and you would have a new branch there, okay? The other one is Bitbucket. You can just put a username, email, password, and sign up, or in my case, I have a login, so there we go, and login. And you can see that I have three repositories. This is another person's repository, Iceman. I'm making this video for you especially. And these are my repositories. For example, I have a repository for home, okay? In this repository, I have stuff. Now, this is how your repository will look in Bitbucket, okay? And this is the link for your repository, or you can get it from here, okay? If you want to share it with others. So what is this, guys? Well, fork means that I want to fork this repository to mine. And we will speak about these guys, fork, clone, and other stuff later on, especially create pull request and fork. But for time being, very basics. So how can I see what I have in this repository? It's not like a GitHub, because GitHub shows you the repository the very first second you go inside the repository. For example, I see source main, sorry. Then these are folders, these are classes, but here it's not like that. Here you have this source. Clicking on the source will go inside the folders and structures of your repository. Now I can see, okay, I have this Surface XZ and some DLLs, Bone, yeah, I use that, Mels for Maya and some documents and code snippets, and I have this one, NURBS, visualization, and there is a text, rational curves. For example, I can open that and see, okay, this was what I was thinking last night around 2 a.m. to solve the NURBS curves. I think this will work. So yeah, I can download this repository, and this is the master branch. I don't have any branches here. Okay, I can make a new branch like that or create a branch from here. Anyway, now I have repositories. Okay, now what? How can I make repositories to link to my computer? Well, you want this program, source3app.com. Okay, it's a free application that you just saw me using to demonstrate. You can download it. It has for Mac OS, and I think it should have a Linux, or if you don't, if it hasn't, if it doesn't have a version for Linux, then well, go and find any source control application. That's the name for it, okay? Now, you get it here, okay? Download, install, and after installation, when you open, it will start and saying, hey, I'm downloading some stuff for different repository systems. Let it go. Let it happen. After it finishes, you will have a program like this that is totally empty. There is nothing in this side, okay? How can I hook to a repository? Well, let's say I don't have, where was it? Where was it? Seriously? I thought I forked it. Oh well. I want to have a repository. First, I can add folders to organize them, or I can add a repository. When I say add repository, also you can access it from right-click from here, new repository, okay? It asks for the URL of your repository. In GitHub's case, it was the link to the repository, and I showed you the Bitbucket. If you forgot that, just roll back to the video. Now, if you didn't do any coding, and that is how you should do it, you first make your repository, link it to a folder, and then start doing stuff in that folder. Then it's okay. Put the link here, choose the path, and you are golden. But if you have code, okay, for example, here I have my JPSM mod. It has lots of things here. If I select this folder, two things will happen after I hit clone. First, it will yell at you that this folder is not empty and I can't clone it there. Second, if by any chance it works, then you would be in a bad shape, meaning that all data on that project folder, for example, on my JPStem, okay, all this data will be lost, all of that. Because remember, when you say clone, you mean that, hey, look into the server and structure and change these guys to look exactly like what I have on the server. If you don't have these things on the server that you wouldn't have when you first create your repository, you would only have maybe these two, license and readme. So if you don't have anything on that repository, it tells the program that, hey, delete everything and just put these two from internet to my local drive. So how I do this stuff when I forget that I need to make my repository first, well, it's simple. I come here, I create a new folder, okay? It's empty. When I create the repository, I will direct it my empty folder and set select folder. I will clone my repository from internet to that empty folder first, okay? After it is done, you would see this .git if you are showing the hidden folders anyway. But after it's done, then I will come back to my main project, select folders, copy, and then going into blah, that is an empty folder, paste, and when it's finished, when I go back to my new repository link here, I would see that, hey, there are changes there, like this one, okay? So then I would go into file status. Again, I will select everything, and I would hit commit, and I will then push up. That way, my data on the folder would be updated to this server, okay? Now, there is a very serious question. In Minecraft mods, it's not serious, but when it comes for big projects and those projects that you may want to earn money from, there is the question of leaking of data. Well, you are safe if you are using Bitbucket or GitHub Private. Remember, the private repositories are exactly what they are naming themselves. They are private. So no one would see anything from them, okay? But if you invite someone and let that person work with you, then of course he has complete access to the places that you let him have access. As I said, GitHub only gives you private repositories when you pay GitHub for it. Any other repository that you make public is exactly that, public. And as you saw, I downloaded all the code from Ender.io. What does that mean to you? It means if you have a public repository, then your data is not safe. No, it's not safe at all. Okay? But if you want to, then use Bitbucket for a free private repository, and then the data you put in that private repository is 100% guaranteed to be safe and not leaking out. After all, I hope this video helped you understand the concepts of the very basic concepts of source control. Why do we need source control? What are the benefits of source control? What is GitHub? What is Bitbucket? And what is source tree? If I have time and if it wasn't clear enough, please comment if it wasn't clear. I will make another video and speak more in depth about forking, pulling request, branching, and comparing. Those four are when you want to work on a grouped project, and they are needed for that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have fun, everybody. Bye-bye.